Hello, and welcome back to the Coupe de Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Tommy Lazarides, Noah Fisher, and Owen Thompson's here again. He's becoming part of the furniture 2 weeks in a row. And for 2 weeks in a row, well, 2 wins out of 3 we've got, not 2 weeks in a row. But look, it was a great win. We went down to Leicester. We got the points, not the best performance, but we go into the international break with 6 points from 9, looking good. And we will be talking about all of that and much more after this. And welcome back to Coupe de Villa on live. We are here again after a great win against Leicester. Please like and subscribe if you haven't seen the channel before. Tell your friends about it. We're a little Aston Villa podcast from Australia, and we review all the matches. And what a match it was! And Tommy, I'll go to you first because what a game it was. I think we saw the best and the worst of Villa in this game. At times we were a bit sloppy with the ball. At times we maybe gave up a bit too much possession, but we also played some really good stuff and scored 2 great goals. One straight off the training ground, a bit of Austin McPhee magic, and the other one, Duran is the man. Again, comes on, scores a winner.
Yeah, not the first time he's come on and made an impact, has he, this season? So I think he's maybe knocking on the door for a start. I love Ollie, but I think he's definitely knocking on the door for the start, that's for sure. Nanny McPhee is certainly worth his gold. I know a lot of us were slating him, so I'm happy to eat that first slice or maybe even half of that humble pie. During the Gerrard era, we were questioning him, but now I think we all understand why Unai kept him at the club. But yes,
absolutely.
Very,
makes such an impact. Those little sort of advantages you can get from set pieces. And Owen, of course, you were there. What was the atmosphere like, and how did you guys feel? Because there were some nervy moments in the match, and I certainly don't think it was a champagne performance, but we sort of did what we had to do, and there's a lot of players that are playing some really good football in the team right now.
Yeah, I guess ultimately away from home, it's just about getting the result. I mean, like you said, we weren't pretty at times, but neither were Leicester. I thought Leicester were really poor, but at the same time, I also think we played the game well in the sense that they had to be forced out wide all the time. And obviously with Vardy up front, that's not how they want to play at all. They just want to roll him in behind every time. But no, I thought we did okay through phases. There was players that have started well that had not so good games, players that haven't been so good that have had better games. So again, like I said last week, I'm not too fussed. I'm happy. I think the international break's probably come at a good time actually, just for us to kind of reset. We've had a couple of knocks, which I'm sure we'll get onto. So no, I take it. I'm happy. 3 points on the road is all you can ask for.
Absolutely. And Noah, I just think the main positive, or one of the main positives from this match, was the physicality we showed in the midfield, like Onana, Tielemans, Ramsey when he came on with his running and his effort. I think we're a team now that's got a little bit of everything, and we showed that in the we went to an away ground, a promoted team, and it was a bit of a fight this game, and we didn't back away from that.
No, not at all. And I think in all 3 games, I know we're a bit sloppy against Leicester, but the midfield's dominated, I think. Onana, Tielemans, McGinn has been amazing. Ramsey, when he's come on, he had to come on for Bailey. He's been unbelievable as well. And everyone's just doing what they've got to do. But the midfield in particular, like Onana's just a beast. I know he went in early and got that yellow card, but again, was just so compact and didn't get sent off, which was, I thought he was in danger of, to be honest with you, just the way he plays.
Yeah.
And the midfield's so impressive. Like, you look at players that can come into that midfield. Barkley came on and made an impact. It's
great. Yeah,
it's a tough midfield to crack into, and it's quite exciting.
Well, yeah, well, Owen did touch on the injuries, Tommy, and there was Philogene wasn't on the bench. He's got a slight knock, but apparently he should be okay for the Everton match after the break. But then we lose Leon Bailey to a hamstring injury early in the match, and that's going to be a huge blow, isn't it?
Well, Leon, going out is always unfortunate for us, and Ollie just not hitting his straps, and it's like we're still somehow winning games, and yet our most potent and lethal players at the moment aren't performing, right? Or just aren't contributing like they used to. Look, I'm still content and positive. I think we can go in and, looking forward to Everton. I don't want to jump the gun, but they're probably dejected after that Bournemouth comeback, probably one of the greatest in Premier League history, right? And we're going there full of confidence now. It almost makes up for the Arsenal game. It's funny we didn't get the result, but the football was better against Arsenal. Football wasn't as pretty, but we're getting the result. I mean, that's probably Emery ball, and that's a sign of what a good team can do. I mean, we look at, was it this week, last week, Ipswich scored first against Man City, and then obviously Man City came back. So these lower sides are actually, there's a lot more of them, and I think all the teams have improved in the Prem this year. So getting if it wasn't for the point deduction, I think Leicester are going to be screwed 15 points, whatever, for FFP. I think Leicester would have actually survived relegation.
Yeah, well, I mean, they put up a pretty good show, and they weren't the best going forward, but I think Emery, like Owen touched on, adjusted the tactics because of the Vardy threat, and we played a bit deeper and gave them the ball a bit more than maybe we would have done against other teams, which is a bit frustrating when you're watching, and we haven't really kept the ball for a while. And it also shows what a great manager he can be, Owen, and what he is, because he's got different plans for different teams. He can see the threats, and he tries to put us in the best position every week to have a game plan against the opposition.
Yeah, I think a good example of that is probably the whole situation around Ramsey. Obviously, he come on to deal with Bailey, and I thought he had a really good game when he come on. Obviously, played a huge part in the opening goal, and I think he played a bit of a part in the second one as well, if he was the one involved with being on the left-hand side. Was it Barkley that came on for Ramsey towards the end? I think whether it was Barkley or not, but you could tell Ramsey was obviously fuming, because to be subbed on and subbed back off is obviously a kick in the teeth.
Yes, he was shaking his head. He was shaking his head when he went off, I think.
Yeah, understandable, because it's probably a complete knock to his confidence, and he probably thought he had a good game as well. But Barkley came on, and that's his best performance I've seen so far. I mean, I know he's not had many minutes, but he come on and completely controlled the game. I thought cleaned everything up, just like Tielemans and Onana have done. Yep. So no, that was really good. It was impressive, and like Tommy mentioned about Leicester, I think Forest were the same under Steve Cooper. Like, they weren't so brilliant going forward. However, they were always very in and around the games, difficult to break down at times. So, yeah, I think Leicester, I've changed my tune a bit. I would have had Southampton as the strongest or to stay up. But again, without the point deduction, Leicester probably would have had the best chance at it now, I think.
Well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see on them, because, they showed against Spurs that they've got a bit of fight, they've got a bit of something. But, we nullified that quite early, Noah. I thought we started the game quite well. Ollie Watkins had a couple of chances. There was one where he nearly took it off the goalkeeper. He had the shot where the keeper saved it when Rodgers put him through. But it's not quite happening for him right now. Again, he didn't look too happy when he was on the bench after he got subbed. But what can you see with Watkins? Like, if this continues for another 2 or 3 games, can there be a situation where Duran starts over him, or would you start them together? Or
I just remember this time last season, he hadn't scored a goal, and we were saying the same things every week about Ollie. He's had a big offset. He barely had a break, to be honest. He played the Euros. He was a bit injured in the Euros as well. He's coming back. He just needs one goal. He just needs one goal in the league. It was that Chelsea goal last year. It was that Chelsea goal last year.
What I would say, though, is that the difference is we've got a guy who's coming on.
I know.
133 seconds later, he's scoring a goal like that, which is a beautiful centre forward's goal.
That's
Duran.
Right? That's Duran's forte, though. Ollie wouldn't score that header. That's not his game. Now, also, Ollie last season, wasn't coming off 19 goals and all these other contributions.
He was still coming off 16 though. He's still got a lot.
Yeah,
of
but not like last year. Last year was his best year by far, and he started for England coming off a high with the Euros, right? So he wasn't having that the season before. So you naturally would expect that he's getting progressively better each year, which means you should be scoring faster. Or is he the modern day Harry Kane where he has the August drought and then everyone's going to bring him in September, October, right? Isn't it like 5-6 weeks? Kane goes MIA, then he gets golden boot somehow.
Kaz makes a great point here as well that Duran, when he has started games, hasn't really shown the same levels. But we haven't seen it yet this season. Maybe he's a different guy. He's a year older. He went away with the Colombian national team to the Copa Americas. He didn't play much, I don't think, but he was, part of that squad. So maybe, he's got an extra bit of confidence.
Well, don't get me wrong. Watkins
but could we see, like with the Bailey injury, could we see a situation where they both play? I think that's possible, isn't it?
It's possible.
Ollie's not a winger. Ollie's not a winger, I think, Scott. I think if you're going to play, it's got to be like a 4-4-2 or 4-3, 4-1-3-2, whatever.
He'll want to score goals as well now because it's obviously eating away at him.
That's right.
So.
But you could play what we're playing at the moment, right, is sort of Watkins and Bailey with Rodgers coming from deeper, right, into that third. So we could do that with like Watkins and Duran, and then, it turns into a front three when Rodgers gets involved.
Well, when I was having steaks with Noah last night, thanks for forgetting me Watkins shirt, you fucking prick. So Watkins isn't the only one missing sitters.
No, anyway, I didn't miss a sitter. Tommy and I finally got dinner last night, and he messaged me an hour before. Don't forget the shirt. I said, nah, I won't forget the shirt. I won't forget it.
And Noah happened in a car park of about 150. He happens to park the car behind me. He didn't even know. Yeah,
I messaged Tommy. I was like, "Oh, where are you at?" He's like, "I'm in the car park. I got out my car. I'm looking at him, like just looking straight at him." And he goes, "You got my shirt?" And I died. I absolutely died. I forgot the shirt. So it's still in my room upstairs. So yes, Tommy, I will get that back. I will get that to you. I will get it to you.
And this is what I said over dinner last night. I said, Noah, what I think is Ollie tires defenders out, especially centre backs, and then that actually paves the way for Durant to come in, bully him a bit. They're already fatigued and terrorise them, and probably get in better positions. So there is almost this confusion. There's two different types of forwards that you have to mark, right? Durant's actually quite simple. Just gets in the box, gets a header, find him, right? Where Ollie will just be constantly moving. And I think that almost confuses defense. So starting both, you almost lose that, I think. And that's why Durant's actually been successful in his little cameos. And I just want to also give a shout out to our latest sub, by the looks of it, Whispers Racing Podcast.
What a legend. Good friend of mine, Sammy Kennedy.
Thanks for joining us.
Shout out to Sammy. He's an Arsenal supporter, actually, so he's don't know what he's doing here. I did
see someone commented about a right back. I don't know who it was, but I do want to touch on Bogard.
Yeah.
I think he actually played really well, but what I would say is he's a centre-back, a right-back, just lacks that final pass, which he can weed out. Confidence was a bit of a thing, and then he started to get fatigued and do silly things.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll probably think that it was a solid enough debut, but defensively he was good. But yeah, he did cough up the ball a few times.
Correct.
The cost us. And my question would be, is Nedeljkovic like worse than him? Like what? Like I actually thought he was pretty. I've been impressed with what I've seen from him. So I was surprised that he wasn't starting. But Emery knows these guys. He sees them in training. What do you think about that, Owen? Like, what were we likely to see against Everton at right back?
We were saying on the bus that what does Nedeljkovic have to do to get a start? Because he got thrown in. He got thrown into the thick of it last week because of Cash pulling up, and I thought he held his own fairly well. But then ultimately, I guess if he wants an extra right back while Cash is injured, then you've got to kind of just get on with it and throw them in the deep end. I guess we're all in agreement. I thought Bogard did okay, especially to start with. I thought him and Konza were controlling the game quite well in that part of the pitch. But yeah, there was a few mistakes starting to creep in. Then he probably started to panic, and that's what happened when he ended up throwing himself in. And I think it was Mavididi just skipped past him for the goal. And you could tell it annoyed him. But then I guess when the sub came and Nedeljkovic did come on, he again seemed to just calm everything down again and played a big part in us seeing it through.
No, well, Emery must have some real confidence in Bogard, and I am glad that he got a chance. Tristram here saying, like, we are happy he played, but there is another young guy that we bought to be a right back as well. Like Bogard is a centre back who's, I'm glad he didn't put just Conser out there and bring in Carlos like he did last year. So I prefer that he did this to that. And
he does rate Bogard. He really does.
And I thought Conser. And I thought Conser was man of the match for me.
They gave it to Onana. They gave it to Onana, Scott, I think.
I know, but my man of the match was Conser. I thought he was just Rolls Royce at the back, calmed everything down, won everything, just brilliant.
Good comment by Gary. I actually do see a lot of similarities between Bogard and Conser. I would actually like to see Bogard in an organic centre back position one day. I think he'd be great. And again, you can tell he's got pace, but just that final ball forward. And look, centre backs don't play it like right backs, right? So I will let him off. It was his first game, probably a lot of cobwebs, but all in all, I think he done better than worse. Defense, he was actually great and quite solid.
I think the commentator said it was his first professional game since January.
Yeah.
I think that's what they said on the
there you go.
So he's out on loan at Bristol Rovers. I think he got injured maybe.
Yes.
But he hadn't played since January. So, I mean,
and one thing I noticed is, I think back to Scott, Conser wins bloody everything on these defensive headers off corners. You don't realise how you hear Conser with the ball out, Conser with the clearance. It's like, jeepers.
Absolutely. His positional skill and his reading of the game.
And
I think it's gone up since the Euros, and he played those couple of games for England and played really well. I think his confidence has gone to another level. I was expecting maybe a similar thing from Ollie. We haven't seen it yet, but, I think, when people say, I don't want Aston Villa players playing for their country because they might get injured and this sort of thing, you don't realise, like, when they have a good game for their country, they come back and they're full of beans.
Correct.
They can go to a different level. They start playing with guys who are a different level at, their national level. And, they come back and they bring that sort of expertise and professionalism, that next level of, playing to the squad. And I think the Conser since the start of the season, he is our best defender now, and there's no questions about it, I think.
100%. He's a Rolls Royce.
Speaking of the squad, Scott, how do we all feel about the Champions League draw, and I guess going into there with what we've got at the moment?
Well, that's good. That is a good little segue, and I was very excited, of course. And to get Bayern Munich, the team we won the European Cup against, as our first game at Villa Park.
See, Scott.
I'm back. I don't know what happened there. I kind of
click the Onana filter.
I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, like I said, like Bayern Munich at Villa Park, what a way to start the Champions League, Tommy. Like, fantastic. And we got
to be honest, I think Bayern and Leipzig are probably the only two semi-difficult teams. I'm not going to lie. Has anyone Googled the Young Boys Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got plastic pitch.
No, it's the name of it.
What's it called, Owen?
This is a family-friendly stream. I'm not.
Wow, you saying the name of the stadium? It's nothing vulgar.
I don't know this.
It's called the Wankdorf Stadium.
It is.
Okay. Wow.
So, anyway.
Okay.
Well, Wankdorf, there you go. Thanks, Gary. And he's corrected it and he's got rid of the space.
That's quite unfortunate.
But I actually think apart from RB and Bayern, I think we couldn't have asked for a better group, to be honest. We're always going to draw one of the big boys.
Yeah, I think Monaco away will be difficult. I think Juventus at home will be difficult. They've gone to a different level this year. They got a good midfielder in Douglas Luiz, I think his name is. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him, but I think he goes okay. That's going to be really exciting. Really exciting to get him back, and I'm sure the fans will give him a great reception. And he's really going to want to put one over us for sure. So. We look at those home games, Owen, and we've got Bologna, Celtic, Bayern, and Juventus. If we could pick up 6 points or 7 points from those games, we put ourselves in a real good spot because, like Tommy said, Young Boys away, Bruges away, Monaco away, and Leipzig away. We could pick up some points there too. And I think 9 points is probably what we need to get into the knockouts, the playoffs. So that's really a reasonable expectation, I think.
Yeah, we were saying I think anything between about 7 and 10 points is probably good enough to get you into that playoff section. Now I'm not sure how the playoff works in terms of, is it the highest of the playoff teams plays the lowest of the playoff team, works it, whatever.
Seeded.
Yeah, I mean, watching the draw, I was slightly bugged by the Leipzig game because I wanted every other team in that pot would have been an absolutely unbelievable trip. I mean, I'm sure Leipzig will as well, but I know a lot of people that have been to Leipzig was we had them in pre-season the 1 year. But when you kind of think about it from a trying to qualify perspective,
absolutely,
Bologna at home is very winnable. Celtic at home is very winnable, and then you try and pick up points on the road where you can. So. From there, and then anything from Bayern Munich or Juventus is a complete bonus, I think. And hopefully that sees us through.
Absolutely, and I think we could have got a Real Madrid away or something like that, which would have been a great trip for you boys, of course, and unbelievable experience for the players. But Leipzig, we went there when we were. Were we a championship squad, or was
we've just been promoted?
Just been promoted, yeah. And we won a preseason game, and they're probably the weakest side in that top pot. So, that's a game now we can realistically look at, Noah, and think we can get some points here. And I think we can get points from pretty much every game if we go into it with a full squad and firing squad.
100%. I'm pretty jealous for some of these spots the boys are going to get to go to. It's pretty surreal now. Like now the draw's done. Obviously, when you finish fourth, I think it really starts to feel real now. Draw's done, fixtures out. It's a bit different, obviously not being group stage anymore, and it's the new league system, but it brings more excitement. Definitely home games. You'll target a point every game at least. Villa Park's a fortress for us now. But some of those away days, they're going to be tough places to go. Like I know young boys aren't known to be like big like beaters in this competition, but it's a difficult place to go. We found out in the Conference League last year that these guys at home in their unique stadiums with their rowdy fans, it can be tough.
Plastic pitch as well, so hopefully no one gets injured on that, because it has been a bit of a nightmare for some teams that have travelled there over the past years. And they do have a great atmosphere. And Bruges, these clubs, like they're in the Champions League pretty much every year, so they know the routine. They've been there before. We're new on the block, so we can't take any of these games for granted. I know. And Celtic at home is going to be a little bit different, Tommy, because Battle of Britain. It's going to be, they're going to bring down some raucous fans, no doubt about it. Be a great atmosphere, that one.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Kaz's comment, right? They're going to want to prove that they're better than the English as well. Celtic Park's also very hard to go to, right? Like good atmosphere. I think away it'll be insane.
Yes, it's a good job we don't play them away, though.
Oh, I didn't know. Wow, fucking there you go.
Yes, we only play one team.
There we go, Noah. Nice.
What do I do?
No, nothing. I'm kidding. I'm just.
We only play everyone once, which is kind of strange, Owen. Usually you get a team home and away in this sort of format. Like we did in the Conference League last year. We played everyone twice. So to play teams once, I think adds a bit of extra, a little randomness to it. And I kind of like this format. I think it's going to be interesting. And I think it'll be, there won't be as many games that don't matter towards the end of the group stage, because, there's still a lot of places in that middle knockout playoff zone. The top 8 go directly through, the bottom 8 are out, and then the middle 16, I think, go into the playoffs. So there's going to be a lot of games with a lot riding on them.
Yeah, I can kind of see why they have changed it up. I didn't always properly follow the Champions League really, really in depth because, we were never really in and around it. But you could tell, like, the group stage was just getting a bit tired, and like the same group teams were winning the groups every year. And I was going to say, sorry, I've been completely put off there. If you get through 2 or 3 games in the old group stage and you've not picked up a win, then you're starting to think, well, we've got no chance here. So at least with this one, there's different games, there's winnable games, there's more difficult games, and all the way through till the very last game, like they're trying to advertise, every point is still to play for, every position is there to be made up. So I can get behind it.
That's it. And we got like Celtic in that last game, Noah. You know, if we need a result for that one, that's going to be a huge match at Villa Park. So really looking forward to that. And the first game against Young Boys is only in a couple of weeks, I think. Is it?
Yeah, it's coming up really fast. I know I was talking to Owen pre-podcast about him getting some time off work to be able to make the trip over. I know Max and Simon are booked very quickly as well. So the boys are going to be over there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to Young Boys away. That'd be a dream, but I cannot.
You're not going to watch Young Boys? Oh, what a shame.
No, unfortunately not. It would be pretty cool. But
I did hear a rumor you might be looking to go to Bayern Munich at home.
Yes, potentially. Jeez, Tommy, you act like that's brand new news, but that'd be pretty cool. I'm not sure what the go with is for tickets for that, but they're going to be the hottest ticket in Birmingham since we played Birmingham away in 2019 when Grealish got punched. So, pretty exciting.
Awesome. So, Tommy, is there anything else we want to talk about the match? I don't think we really talked much about the goals and just how good they were. You know, what did you think of the first of all, the Onana goal, the set piece routine? And do you think that's exactly how it was planned on the training pitch, or I don't think it was
first touch. I don't think it was planned for Ollie to get the assist. I'm like, why does it say Ollie? I didn't realize he got a nip, so he's jibbed everyone that had Ramsey in their fantasy teams.
Oh, I loved it for my fantasy.
Ollie got the assist, Scott. He touched it.
We'll be talking about fantasy later, don't you worry, because there is a new leader in the fantasy league.
You're joking. And there's a new person still not in the group.
Yeah,
it's you.
It is me.
And Tommy still hasn't joined it.
I asked you for the code at dinner, man. You're too busy.
I gave it to you.
Yeah, I used the code.
I gave it to you. Don't act like you don't have the code.
Mate, I got 95 points this week.
95?
Yeah, man. I had Haaland, Salah. I had Onana. I had
Onana. You done it.
Isaac. I had João Pedro.
Mbomo?
No Mbomo. But
we saw a little dynamic duo.
Yeah, and Owen, the winner from Duran. There's a clip going around on X and that with the whole build up to that play. It was a beautiful goal.
Yes.
The play, it went for about 2 minutes of slick passing, and then, as you mentioned earlier, Digne and Ramsey do this lovely little 1-2 on the wing, and it's a good ball in from Digne, which I think his game hasn't been talked about as much as it should. I think he had a really solid game, and he's been really good this season so far. Yeah. And Duran just finds that sort of half a yard between the centre backs, and the header. Well, it's absolute perfection.
Yeah, I think we just entered. It must have been when he come on, but we had this spell of about 2 or 3 minutes. Where everything was coming through McGinn on the right-hand side and Dean on the left-hand side, and we were obviously just trying to stick it on his head. And they were just struggling to clear their lines, and we just kept going, and then he pulls himself away from the defender, and it's a quality header. I thought he completely mucked it up, but just from where I was stood, and it's a great header. The keeper's got no chance, but I think you got to touch on Dean. I think he's been really, really solid so far, and I guess Tommy, that's why Maatsen isn't getting a real look in it to start with. When Maatsen came on, he obviously played a lot higher up the pitch, which I think he's going to want to try and do, especially now if Bailey's out for a few weeks and we don't have another winger. Because I think I have this feeling we were flapping around trying to find a winger in the final few days of the window. Maybe that's something that we look at doing is throwing Maatsen a little bit higher.
Well, he does like to play the inverted wingers. Sorry, Tommy. Maybe Maatsen could play off the right-hand side and cut in on his left. I don't know if he's ever played there before. If he's, because we are going to need someone to replace Bailey. Who do you think that will be, Tommy?
No, it can't be Philogene. I thought it would be Philogene Badates. He's the natural selection, but Not sure who else. We're starting 2 fucking keepers on the bench, for God's sake.
Yeah, we've got rid of Illing Jr., Owen. We've got rid of Baranachea. We've sent some players on loan. Do you think that could be something that could come back to bite us in the arse a bit? Like,
potentially. I guess all I can see from those 2 lads going out on loan is that they were not the players that Emery wanted, but obviously we needed to get the deal done for the financial aspect and stuff like that. Yeah, potentially it could come and haunt us. I think in terms of who plays out on that right-hand side, I think, like we mentioned last week, it's just you look at the opponents, you see who's going to be out there. Is it a game for McGinn to try and help just stock up the midfield, or is it a game where Philogene can come in and run at defenders? I guess you take each game as it comes and try things out.
I agree.
Maybe a shout at Sterling. I think I saw Scotty UK's comment. Yeah, Sterling would have been a half decent shout, given Chelsea are paying 2/3 of his wages. And I didn't realise Chiesa's transfer fee was only 12 million euros or pounds, whatever. I know he's probably on decent wages, but it's almost worth the gamble, to be honest.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I thought we might bring one more attacker in or one more defender in, Noah, but it was pretty quiet on that last day of the window. Nothing really happening as far as Villa's concerned. But we do have Tyrone Mings training again, which is great news. And I don't know, I guess Kamara is only a couple of weeks away, maybe 3 weeks. So, hopefully we can sort of survive this early season period until the Champions League comes around with no more injuries, because the last thing we want is someone to go away with their country and come back with a knock. So, how are you feeling about the squad and the size and the depth right now?
Yeah, look, I think coming into the season, we all thought Champions League football going to attract a lot of players, but you got to do the things by the book first, unless you wear sky blue and then name Manchester City. But we had to do it. We had to sell Diaby for Champions League reasons. We had to sell Douglas Luiz for Premier League reasons, and we'll do things by the book. But I think this means next season we can go a little bit harder. So if we can get through this early season patch with what's going on, we've got some very, very winnable fixtures coming up in the Premier League. Everton, Wolves going to be a big game, Ipswich after that. And hopefully Bailey should be back for the Manchester United game. So if we need to get through this patch and then the first Champions League game, and it should be interesting.
Will Ericsson be in charge by the time we play them?
Yes.
After yesterday's touch and go a little bit, but
yes, I still think he'll be there. But that's probably for the United boys, to Mark Goldbridge, to discuss.
Yes.
I just want to pull out Kaz's comment. Oh, yeah, thanks for that, populating it. But yeah, so what happens with McGinn once Kamara's back? Because I don't think Tielemans gets dropped. He's too good. And McGinn, his energy's needed. I know he tracks back a lot on D, but I just feel like, overall, we probably would be a lot better if Kamara and Onana both start.
It's a good problem to have. That's all I'm going to say.
It is.
And when Dia to come back?
When Dia's back.
I mean, the thing about McGinn, and I think Emery spoke about this after the match, is he can play in so many different positions. So you can play him a little bit higher up. He plays there for his national team, for Scotland. So, I mean, with the injuries to Bailey, you could quite easily play a front three of Watkins, McGinn, and Rodgers, and then have Kamara, Onana, and Tielemans in the midfield. I mean, that sounds pretty solid to me. But I think it's, like Noah said, good problem to have. But
also, Rodgers' ball, Scott, when he found Ollie, I think twice, or Ollie and someone else, put him through the nutmeg, and just he just needs that 1 second, and he can just flick it like that. The guy's.
I thought Rodgers was down, and I think we were talking about it in our group chat. I said Rodgers just needs to get on the ball. As I said, that he plays through Watkins, but again, for someone that's been so good this season, you give him a quieter game. There are a few players that done that. Rodgers has been fantastic, and I'll tell you what, once he gets going with goals and assists, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable, because defenders look scared of him. When he gets the ball and he gets going, they genuinely look scared of him.
They had to put 4 or 5 around him. Yeah,
it's crazy. And this is a guy that was playing for Middlesbrough in the Championship that we overpaid for, that is at least double, tripled his price tag right now. And yeah, I'm actually quite surprised he didn't get picked for England and the senior side. I know Emery was as well, because I think that would just been great reward for effort for him, and hopefully tears up for the under-21s.
I think he'll definitely be selected before the end of the season. It's he's It was. I mean, guys like Midwecki got chosen and that sort of thing. So it was a bit of a surprise to me. I actually thought he would be because everyone seemed to be talking about him. After the Arsenal game, where he was like the talk of the town. So, but yeah, his time will come. I think he can go to the under-21s and absolutely dominate there, and hopefully come back and start getting some goals and some assists for us because he has played well, but he hasn't made a contribution in terms of a statistic yet. So let's hope that comes against Everton. So what else? What's this from Scotty? He says Tyrone and Kamara could take months. Yeah, I agree that. Yeah, with the likes of McGinn and Barkley and Tillemans and all these options we have, we can bring Kamara back in slowly and use him where we need to. And I actually don't think Kamara will take that long to come back because he's not really a player who runs around a lot. He reads the game. He's very kind of I don't know, stylish, I guess. I wouldn't say lazy, but he kind of has that look about him where he's never sprinting because he's always in the right position, And so I think he might be okay, but
he does turn a lot, Scott. He does turn a lot like Wendy as well, right? These little niggas, that's what fucks you need, not the sprinting. Sprinting's a hamstring.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, those turns can definitely. Yeah.
And Scotty UK's comment very relevant as well.
About Konsa?
Just in general, saying we've had a very lucky run with Ollie, to be honest, right? Touch wood, something happens to him. We're stuck with Duran, and that's it.
Yeah, well, Duran's got a spot to fight for. Which again, having competition for spots is such a good thing. And if Duran keeps scoring goals off the bench, it's only going to make Ollie train harder and, I guess give it more of a go. But having two strikers coming off international tournaments, one of them's taking chances. A lot of comments about Ollie. I just think you got to back him in. I really do.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's starting to panic about Ollie. I think, he's still getting the chances. I think if he wasn't getting the chances, it would be more of a concern. But, he still makes his runs. He's still absolutely rapid. He's still, got the strength and gets his shots away. It's just, those shots will start going in and then, everyone will forget that he had a slow start to the season. So,
last year, Scott. Just like last year. I'll keep saying it. It's so true. I don't know. I don't remember what match week that Chelsea game was, but
was
it 6, 5 or 6?
The middle of September. I think it was. We just played Warsaw away, so it was like 5 or 6 games in, I think.
Yeah, so and he scored 19 goals, Scott. And I know he had a bad end to the season, so he was saying he hasn't scored in 8 or 9 games, whatever it is now. But you got to remember, he is a goal scorer for us. He's an absolute freak.
There is one sort of negative I wanted to bring up, and that was maybe the fact we can't seem to keep a clean sheet ever. We would go 2-0 up. I'm starting to think, thank God we're going to have a cruisy end to the game for once where we just see the game out, no drama. We keep a clean sheet. We win 2-0, job done. Thanks for coming. But, we let that goal in. It was wasn't very good defending, really. There was a few guys at the back post that were free. What do you think about those? Do you think that the defense is an issue, or do you think it'll sort itself out?
I think the goal was just a bit of a mess all round. Really, there was an element of luck in it because I can't remember, someone flicked it on and he just happened to be there. But like I said, it was just a bit of fatigue creeping in. Bugard throwing himself in and relatively easy to skip past. I can see where there's a little bit of frustration because I couldn't tell you when our last clean sheet was.
I just found out when it was. Any guesses for anyone or
last season? Were we at home?
Away. Our last clean sheet was away from home.
January.
Anyone in the comments, if you can get it in as well. Our last clean sheet in the Premier League. This game.
Everton?
Not Everton.
That was a draw. Was it after that? Was it more recent than that?
It was more recent than that. Towards the back end of the season.
I can't even think for the life of me we played.
West Ham? No, we
drew there.
No, we drew there.
Arsenal.
Muhammad Adam goes bang. Arsenal away. Was the last
Lovely.
Muhammad.
Well, we were just switched on from minute 1 that day. We never we could still have been playing now, and they wouldn't have scored.
Amazing. Wow, that is a long time ago, though. I mean,
when you think about it,
So yeah, I mean, it is something. I mean, Emi Martinez, he gets a clean sheet every game he plays for Argentina. I'm sure he's asking his back four, come on, lads, give me one clean sheet, please. Like it's been too long. So hopefully he can get one against Everton. How about that?
Well, he's renewed his contract till 2029. So you know what? It's a 5-year problem. What an absolute star! Did you see his interview though? I think he was doing it when he was announcing this kid
at the club shop or something. I didn't know what that was.
Club shop. Yeah, that's right.
I know, and you can just hear like all the reporters and all the fans that were there. Like I mean, he has become just such a cult hero, and everyone was just cheering like, you know, we've just won the World Cup or something. It was fantastic to see him do that, and you know, to see that. You know, he's giving back to the club that gave him a chance to be number one. And yeah, I mean, he's just gone from strength to strength since Dean Smith did that back, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. And now he's, you know, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, if not the best. I think he's the best, you know. So, look, it's so good to have him. And he just brings such a calmness to the team. There was a few times he just came out and took crosses on the weekend, you know, that were fantastic. You know, he would have been disappointed, I think, Arsenal with the second goal he let in, but he made a great save in that game too from Saka earlier in the match. So, you know, I think he's you know, definitely one of the best. And Noah, you must love having Emi in goal.
Well, I think everyone does.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just one of those things that we got the right player at the right time on the out of at Arsenal, you know, and to think about how things have turned around, like they signed Ramsdale for whatever it was, 35 million. We bought him for under 20. Like it's just absurd.
And now they got rid of Ramsdale, funny enough.
They got rid of him for Raya, and it's the way that things go around in football, it's quite absurd. And, you know, he might have thought his career was over. He couldn't find a club, was getting loaned out, and he finally got a club that, as you said, gave him a chance to do it. And he's such a loyal player, such a loyal person. And I say that now, but football obviously changes very quickly. And he's repaying the faith in spades. But one thing that we got to do is just keep looking after him. I think when you have someone like him in goals, it just makes defenders and everyone in front of you just play so much with so much more confidence. You know,
he's our vice captain, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so when McGinn's not on the pitch, he's the captain. Yeah. And you can see that. He takes the, you know, he commands the back four. He's very vocal, and he just like represents the club so well. The way he, you know, I think he's kind of toned down some of the antics a bit. You know, like that. I think that was getting a little bit out of hand maybe 18 months ago. But he's sort of, I think he's taken on a bit more responsibility, and now he just does just the right amount of shit housing, you know, like not too much.
Toned it back.
He's dialed it in.
Yeah.
I did see who's Gary's comment regarding Rodgers' omission from the England squad. I don't want to digress, but did you see Unai what he came out and said? He goes, "I'm surprised he didn't get picked for the." He goes, "Under 21s." I go, "You should be in the England senior team. What's going on?" And yet they put Madueke. He's had 2 good games.
Well, I think his point was he's gone past the 21s and he shouldn't be playing for them anymore. Which I think, you know, I don't think that's really Emery's place to say, because, you know, if Rodgers wants to be available for the 21s, then it's sort of up to him, I guess. But, you know, yeah, I can understand Emery because he doesn't want him to come back injured. He's a super player. And, yeah, I mean, I was a little bit surprised. I thought he might be in, but, you know, I'm sure he will be soon.
I've got someone else to bring up, I guess. Is anyone here concerned, anyone in the chat concerned that we've scored 4 goals this season, 2 from Onana and 2 from Duran?
I mean,
there are only 4 goals for this season from the same 2 guys.
Watkins has had his chances. I think Rodgers has had a couple of chances as well. So I'm not concerned in that sense. The goals will come from all over the pitch. Ramsey, I'm sure, is probably due a goal as well at some point. Same with Bailey. So I'm not concerned in that.
It's just weird though.
And we've had 2 away games, right?
That's true.
Where, you know, I think at home we are more prolific. We've had some big wins at home, like Brighton last year and other games where, we've bagged a few. So I think Everton next week, I think we could get two or three against Everton. So
I'm hoping so. For no reason in particular, but I really hope we
also, is Haaland on track for like 70 goals or something? The guy's an absolute machine.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
ridiculous.
he's only scored one goal against the Villa, I think. So, yeah.
There you go.
Record against us,
Thompson
and Carlos.
And Liverpool also haven't conceded a goal in their opening three.
Yeah,
it's but look, I think it is good from a Villa point of view because the sort of teams that we're competing with for that 4th spot, Spurs, maybe Man United, maybe Newcastle, they've all dropped points and we're ahead of all of them.
Tottenham have been really poor so far.
Since Postecoglou goes, I always win in my second season. They've just gone down.
But actually, I did watch the game last night and they played well. They just
it was a very Tottenham performance. First half they had most of the ball, one Newcastle chance and they score.
They play some nice stuff. They just don't have that killer instinct. It's but hopefully that doesn't come against us.
Exactly.
Look, should we look at the FPL?
Should we look at the FPL? I can chuck it up. I know why you're keen. I know why Scott's really keen to say. I've just had a look at the table myself. So, why are we looking at this? Scott Cooper in the lead.
Yes, he is.
If I see scrolling down, you won't see Tommy Lazarides again.
I think I'm there. I might just be right near the bottom.
Keep going a little bit more. Yeah, there I am on there as well.
Okay.
I had a poor week.
I'm coming off a 63. I love some of the names, by the way. I do love some of the names that people come up with in here.
Mine used to be 2 girls, 1 FA Cup.
Oh.
You got this basic Coot de Villa for Scotty with 9. Let's have a look at your team, Scott. Let's give out your secrets here.
Mate.
That's it.
And your defense is shit.
Haaland saved you there.
Literally.
Not really. I'd say Salah captain. Oh, no, Haaland did. You didn't captain Salah?
No, I captained Haaland and he got 34 points. Thanks very much.
Fucking... Hey, Joao Pedro. That guy's a gun, man. What a signing from Watford.
Can I mention something about Pedro? And the same goes for John Duran as well. Both of them have scored goals away from home this weekend. And both, I used the Brighton one. The Brighton away end went absolutely balmy. And both Duran and Pedro ran the other way from
That's
the
what
other
I
end.
was thinking.
And I think you must, as a striker, you see these people go absolutely tumbling over each other and you decide to run to the other corner.
Yeah, I don't understand that as well. I saw that too, but I guess that people say when you score a goal, you don't know what you're doing. You kind of just you lose your head for a moment. But
yeah, but it is funny. They score and then they change. They pivot.
Surely one of the other players at least would grab him and go, let's go to the fans.
I did love the Leicester fan in the background just hitting it with the UI as he scored the goal. But that's going to be a meme all year, I reckon. But that's was it Bertrand Traore scored right in front of the away end last time he played at Leicester, and it just went absolute bonkers in there. It's one of the as a player, you surely just want to stand in front of that. Everyone is going nuts, like you've caused this.
I think Gary made a good comment here. The Onana seems to have taken Duran under his wing a bit. They seem to be very close, and you can see that.
I was going to mention about this. The pair of them, that video of them dancing round at the end, is quality. But I was going to say about Onana in general. I think he's really warmed to the club. I think the 2 goals has certainly helped. But you can tell that I think he knows that people love him at the moment, and he's really started brightly. And the fact that he's mucking around with the fans at the end and having a sing and a dance and stuff certainly helps from a fan's perspective.
And channeling frustration into momentum, right?
Yeah.
And there was a comment earlier that Duran's moved out of the city,
and gone to the suburbs.
I
think
he's moved to Loughborough, which is quite a long way away. But
hey, if it works, mate, it works.
But yeah, it's a bit more quieter, a bit more. Maybe he's not living the party lifestyle as much. I can't remember who made the comment.
I can't find it, but
yeah.
12:30. The comment was Gary posted it.
Let's have a look. I'm on my way up.
But yeah,
there we go.
so hopefully he is maturing, like Gary said.
Yeah.
Because I think he would say himself that he made some poor choices. But I think we all, as a fan base, have definitely forgiven him now after those 2 goals that have got a crucial 2 wins. And boy, at the end of the season, I mean, I don't know how important it will be now, but it certainly seems like we're in a good place now. We're in that sort of top 6 area where we've already played Arsenal once, so that's one of the real big boys out of the way. We've got some winnable games coming up. We've got the Champions League coming up soon. It's all like really the next month or 2 is going to be absolutely unbelievable to be a Villa fan. I can't wait.
I can't wait either, Scott. Should be good.
Yeah. Noah, you'll be there for some of those matches, of course. Fingers crossed you get tickets to the Bayern match because that's going to be incredible. The first Champions League match at Villa Park ever, the first time in the European Cups for 40 years. Young boys away, Owen, that's going to be insane as well. Yeah, and if we could get a win in that first game against Young Boys, I think that's a great scheduling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the first match because
yeah, I think it's the first one. Along with like Juventus or something, I think were the first games because we play the earlier kickoff slot.
Yeah, but it's just such a good opportunity for us to, go in a game that we can win and get off to the group stage with a good win. That'd be fantastic. So fingers crossed on that one. So it's a good place to wrap up, guys. It's been
do predictions, don't we, Scotty?
Yes, we do. Sorry,
come on, you always forget.
I know, but I thought we do one next week. And
if we do, I can come live from England. That's true. But we could do predictions.
Let's do predictions now, just in case we're not all here next week. For Everton, so I'm going to say 4-1 Villa.
Are you feeling all right, Tommy? You all right?
Wait,
Tommy threw it up at 10-0 or something.
Yeah.
No, I was going to go 11-2.
Yeah.
I think 3-0. I think Everton will somewhat park the bus and be boring. After we score 3, that is.
After we score 3. What should I don't know. It's going to be weird being there at Villa Park. Ticket is sorted, so I've got my ticket. I'm in the Upper Trinity Road. So anyone sits Upper Trinity Road, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to go... We don't keep clean sheets, but I'm going to back us in for a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0.
Right on cue, actually. I've just seen a comment. Everton did play quite well on Saturday, from what I saw as well anyway, and from what I've read on social media. I'll go 3-1. I think they're going to be panicking Everton now because they're going to need a point on the board at some point. So then may be the case that they come and sit quite deep and try and if we don't have Bailey as well, they might find it a bit easier and us not breaking them down. But no, I'll go 3-1, and again it'll be some silly consolation goal at the end.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be a breakout game for Philogene Badace if Bailey's still out and he's fit. I think it'll be Jaden's breakout game.
Yeah, I'd love to see a bit of magic from Philogene because we saw a bit in the championship for Hull. He scored an unbelievable goal. The Rabona. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing a bit of that in a Villa shirt.
Exactly. See Kieran's comment, Owen. So if Bournemouth could put 3 past them and they're a lot lower than us, we should put about 7 past them after 87. Goal a minute.
But
they did play well.
Jeff made a comment saying, "What about Buendia? We haven't really spoken about him because we haven't seen him on the pitch. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, where does he fit in this team?
But is he fit, or is it just more just a tactic have him there on the bench?
No, he's fit now. I think it comes down to the Carabao Cup game actually against Wickham. I think as Coxie put in there, it's a good chance to rotate the squad. I think Buendia comes in and shows what he can do. He hasn't
Start
played
Barkley as well. Honestly, Barkley starting, mate. He dominated, just so calm when he was on.
Like when was Buendia's last competitive game? It would have been the end of Emery's first season.
He played in the pre-season before he got injured and did quite well last year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it would have been towards the end of that first Emery season. Yeah.
So he's someone that hasn't played. So it just. I'd love to see him back because I think he had something different. I think his goal against Brentford popped up on this day 2 years ago or something when he turned the whole back line inside out, and he's a special player. But where's he fit in? He could fit on that right hand side. He doesn't have the pace though.
I
He doesn't
think
have the pace.
I think a lot of the Buendia stuff comes with what Scotty was saying about how you don't really want to gamble with them yet.
Exactly.
I know obviously if he's fit enough to be in the matchday squad, but if we're chasing a game or we're really up against it, I don't think he's the sort of player. Because, like Tommy said, if you start turning and he's all over the place in the midfield, then if that knee goes again,
I
then
agree.
that's a career ender.
Or does he come
100%.
on and just keep it a bit more simple? Right?
If it's like a 3-0 up at home and he's knocking the
bring him
ball
on.
around, different story.
Yeah.
Yep. But also Anana's old team, right? So he's got
It
a point
is.
to prove.
Yeah,
He's got 2 man of the matches.
And it's the Cooper Cup because Scott's brother goes for Everton. So
and he's telling me that Indai for them is really impressive. He's
the striker.
Yeah, he said he had a really good game against Bournemouth, and so he'll be one to look out for. Hopefully, we can keep him quiet.
Did anyone touch on Kaz's comment regarding Buendia on that right position? That's where he started and flourished for Norwich.
It's true.
Yeah, I think he played a lot more.
He doesn't have to twist and turn as much out there, right? Just
run.
Well, I suppose with Bailey injured, there is a chance that he might get a chance out there.
He could.
Hopefully Philogene isn't out for too long, and he could get a chance. But I wouldn't be surprised if McGinn starts out there. There's a lot of things that Emery could do. Ramsey as well probably wants to start. He's been looking really good when he's been on the pitch. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we go. But let us know in the comments what starting lineup you want to see. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your Villa friends about us. We'll probably do a bit of a catch-up video over the international break, maybe even a quiz, Noah. I might.
Essentially,
no, absolutely not.
After I embarrassed Owen last time, I'll have to do it again in person.
Well, you don't know the Socceroos that have played for played in
that
the
was
2000s.
It felt rigged, but it honestly wasn't. It really did. But...
Look, we'll definitely do something and we'll catch up then. So please keep an eye on the socials. Make sure you know when we're going live, and make sure you comment on the video when it's up and on YouTube and up the Villa. And we'll see you all next week. Catch you later.
Up the Villa.